So Shane, we talked about again this on the show multiple times now about murmurs, rumors, and then kind of confirmation from The Rock and stuff that Henry Cavill is coming back to play Superman. And then I don't want to say this is a spoiler because it was reported everywhere, so I feel like everyone knows it. And obviously, he was in post-credit scene in the Black Adam movie, so which we also reported here on the show. So now it looks like Henry Cavill himself has actually jumped on to social media and let us know, that he himself is now teasing that he is going to come back and play Superman. But, again, this is news that we kind of already knew. But yeah, so you see here, he made this tweet of him in this. This is the costume, guys, from if you haven't seen Black Adam. This is the costume. In fact, behind me here on the screen as well is kind of what it's very bright. I would even say the blue is a little bit more brighter in the one that he has.
Definitely more brighter, and they bring the yellow in.
Yes, for sure. The yellow is like, I don't
think there was any yellow.
I got to be completely honest with you. I kid you not, the very first thing my mind thought when I seen that yellow was, ooh, Wolverine may look good on the big screen. I really did. I know it's a whole different dynamic. I know
never even tried.
I know it's a whole different dynamic, and it's a full-blown yellow shirt. But, man, the way it popped.
Frank quietly had already done exactly, and who was the other guy? There's another comic book that had Wolverine in a yellow suit that looked believable because they did it as if it was real life and it wasn't all spandexy. Mm-hmm. It can work.
Yeah, for sure. It could. And yeah, this looked great. Like I said, guys, the yellow really popped. It definitely gave me that feeling of Superman from like when I was a kid. Like, I don't know what that means, but that's just how I felt. I felt like he would, save my cat from a tree. But yeah, it looked, really badass. So yeah, this is, a tweet. He said, tweets, here's the quote with it. A very small taste of what's to come, my friends. The dawn of hope renewed. Thank you for your patience. It will be rewarded. Reward me, Henry Cavill. I need more Superman. We need more Henry Cavill Superman. It is what we need. And I'm glad we got it in Black Adam. I'm glad we're getting more. I'm happy for Henry Cavill because, again, there was a time where it felt like maybe it wasn't ever going to happen again. But, yeah, I like that name, too, The Dawn of Hope. That's a good could be a good movie title. But Shane, you're hearing this again. We kind of knew this information already, but now Henry Cavill is on Twitter, confirming it himself. Tell us what you're thinking. We know your favorite version of Superman is Henry Cavill. So
absolutely, I don't fault Henry Cavill. I just think Man of Steel was a misdirect made at a wrong time when a Superman movie didn't need to be made. I think that was the problem because the take was just so dark. However, now, with how the world is, this is exactly when we need a Superman movie. Something uplifting, something you want to sit in the theater and cheer for, right. Rather than just, wallow in despair. And, I think this is another perfect time, too, because I didn't think making a good Batman movie was possible. Well, they just proved me wrong. Mm-hmm. So now I don't think making a good Superman movie is possible. Well, here's their chance to prove me wrong. Yeah, absolutely. Because now I have faith that they can deliver me a good Superman movie because I think the time is right for a good Superman movie. Like I said, Superman's uplifting. And, I think they took that away from his character. Again, I don't think that's Henry Cavill's fault.
I mean, I was telling Lucas on the show last week, he was talking about, what he would like to see in Man of Steel 2 and stuff. And I was saying it's ironic that you say this because it does show you the times we're in as humans, as humanity, especially as Americans, right? I don't want to see him fight a villain. You know what? When I was a kid, Superman helped us. Mm-hmm. Sometimes jets fall out of the sky and he just carries it. You know how badass it would be just to see Superman walk a jet down, man?
There's a great Alex Ross comic book.
Yes.
And most of that comic book is him feeding the poor.
Exactly.
Come on. Exactly.
That is not only what we need, it's what this character needs. Mm-hmm. Again, because after having Man of Steel, I mean, clearly we can't do anything like that, right? So we need more of that. We need more of, us feeling like we're more connected to him as a human being.
Absolutely. And, and I think it's just the experience, too, of what the character is. Because Batman, what makes him so appealing is it gives us the possibility of what one person can do. It's just like, oh, my goodness, that's so amazing. Superman's supposed to inspire people to do more. We should be coming out of the theater going, you know what? Next time I see my neighbor, I'm going to give him a wave. It doesn't even have to be a big thing. Just something that is more positive. And like I said, I think this is the perfect time.
Yeah, he doesn't have to save the world every time. It really is not. Again, Superman when I was a kid was never about saving the world. I mean, it was sometimes. But when I always mentioned to you, I had a Choose Your Own Adventure Superman book that I read for like 4 years because it literally I could like make it new every time. I mean, I was like 7, so, but again, there was probably 300 different stories that you can make with that. And so many of them were just him helping the community in a way, again, even like there would be a fire and he'd come in and the firefighters are struggling to put it out. And Superman's like, hey guys, let me help you with this one. Right? Like, come on. Like, to me, that stuff is so cool. And again, like you said, I think it's a great point that we need that.
We need this.
We need that, man. We need that. We need to feel like that. We all in this together, because I think it's easy to forget that.
Well, and it's with Superman, I think it's a really slippery slope too with this type of character that we could end up with a movie none of us want to see because when you're developing a story, you're always taught conflict. What's the conflict? Well, when you have Superman so overpowered that the only conflict that you can do is, bigger battles, more explosions. Right. And it's just like, at some point, it's like you said, we have this fatigue. We don't want more explosions. We want deeper characters. And, Superman is a perfect character to give us a little more deepness. And again, it doesn't have to be a brooding, depressing. It could be the opposite of that, inspiring people that are brooding and depressed. And, maybe that's the element that we really get into the psychosis of, Metropolis. Maybe we do make it like what Halloween wanted to do with Haddonfield.
Right.
And, and it's this kind of dystopian, everyone's, seems happy, but they're all sad. And then Superman comes in and, does more than they imagine could be done. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of possibilities to go with than just more battles, more explosions.
Well, and it's like me and Lucas are talking about, with the Black Adam movie we just got, again, the Superman we all know and love flies down into that situation. He's not going to fight that guy. He's going to realize quickly, like, hey, man.
Nobody wins if we fight.
Not only that, you're a good dude. Like, it's in there. I can see. He's the best of us. He knows when to do things better than anything else on this planet, and he can make those decisions very quickly, and they're usually always on, the best decision.
Yeah. And, I think it works both ways, too, because Superman's an alien.
Yeah,
and why does
but he's raised a human being.
But why does he stay on Earth?
Because he's our protector.
I think it has to be more than that. I think
you know why he stays on Earth, Shane? Because with great power comes great responsibility.
That's true to an extent, but why I think he really stays on Earth is I think it's a two-way street. I think we inspire him, and he inspires us.
Yeah, I believe that's true.
And I think we need some of that. Why he wants to be human. And why he craves to have a relationship.
But he's also a
love.
super version of a human in outside of a powered version or outside of powers, right? He's just almost, I don't want to say this, but almost like what a religious figure is in the fact that, he's almost perfect, right? He doesn't make mistakes like we make and stuff like that. So I think that matters a lot too, right? I think that, I don't know. I just hope that when we do get it, that it isn't anything like Man of Steel. I mean, that was so long ago, and this version of Superman, especially if you're telling me it is the same Superman from Man of Steel, I mean, that was literally even in canon like 2 decades ago. Yeah. So this dude should be completely and totally different.
I'd like to see what the world's like. Has Superman stuck around? Has he, what kind of world do we live in if Superman's been the protector for, 10, 15, 20 years?
Right, for sure. For sure, yeah, but yeah, and yeah, I think you bring up a great point that we inspire him as much as he inspires us, and him being the great, again, that deity that he is, he sees that, hey, I can make real change in these areas where they need help, or and I think that's kind of what keeps him here too, because he's just a good dude. He just wants to do good, and he wants to see everyone succeed. I think that's so important. Back to what we were saying, is what kind of something we need. We all need that. We all actually individually in our lives need people to be like, hey man, this and that, you're doing good. We need encouragement. We need examples, role models. We need things to look to and go, okay, that seems right, And what better thing than Superman?
Exactly. So, and, I think some of the appeal to Superman too, I think if you give us a more grounded movie, someone that he can develop real relationships instead of just running from everything and trying to discover his past. Because when we think about Superman and then like the lore and all the comics, we also include Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen. I mean, both of them had their own comics for decades. Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane.
Yep.
And I think that's some of the appeal to Superman, is that he's so overpowered. He can do absolutely anything. But at the end of the day, he's like me. He wants a friend to talk to, or he wants someone to love, or
he's
someone
a human.
to hold him.
He's raised human, so at the end of the day, he's just one of us.
And I think that's the appeal, because no matter what, Superman's still on the quest for what I want. Just a good life.
For sure. Exactly. A good America, right? Yeah.
Good world.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's why the real best Superman we ever had was the Red Sun version. He's just
I love that.
He
book.
just wanted what was best for all
Mark
of us.
Miller. So good. Where's that movie?
Right, they did make it. That movie's great.
It's
an animated movie, but God, if you haven't seen it, that movie is it's so good. It's definitely a R-rated movie. It's not something you want to watch.
And seeing the rest of the Justice League in that as well, seeing those takes on
for
what
sure.
happened to their characters.
It's not as bad as like what's that one they put on Amazon with the yellow and blue? Oh, goodness.
The yellow and the blue.
I can't remember his name. I almost said Kick-Ass. But yeah, whatever.
Oh, Impulse?
No, but you're close.
Not Impulse. I mean the
Invincible.
Invincible.
Yes,
yeah.
Invincible.
The Bendis book.
Yes.
Brian Michael Bendis.
Like that one.
Oh, yeah, that's not for kids.
Oh, goodness.
No. That book is not. It's more of a realistic take of what superheroes would be in, a modern world.
For sure. But yeah, that's...
No. Invincible, that's Robert Kirkman. That's the guy who did Walking Dead.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. No, it's really good, though. Like, because basically you got the Justice League, you got Superman, and like, it's not really them, but it's, people like them, and yeah, it's great, but it's very brutal. And Red Sun isn't that bad, but but I would still consider it R-rated for children, that's for sure. That being said, guys, let us know down in the comment section below, what are you guys' thoughts? Again, we've talked about it a lot on the channel, but Henry Cavill's, on Twitter himself teasing to us, it's coming, it's happening, it's in the works, there's a process being moving forward. He's got the new suit, he's just wearing it at his house, he's just waiting. The suit's been in the closet, he's waiting, he's ready. He's like a real Clark Kent. He's just been acting like an actor this whole time, guys. Every set he's been on in every movie, underneath every costume, was a Superman suit, and he was waiting for this day. So I'm glad it's here, and let us know down in the comment section below how excited you guys are for more Henry Cavill Superman. All right,